Alright guys, we back. We back with part 2. We had a question, well, he had a question that we want to answer. What was that answer? What's that question again that you want to ask? What would my daughter what?
What can your daughter gain from being around a grown man that can not read or write?
Let me answer that.
I mean, I can't. That's like having a child trying to lead a grown woman along the way. I mean, I can't wrap my mind around it.
Let me answer that. Tim might have another thing, but it's much deeper than just having somebody that wants to be with somebody who can't read and write. It goes deeper than that. You are with someone that has multiple women. Sometimes I don't know how he does it, but he brainwashes the girl to accept his lifestyle, to have 4, 5, 6 women, living women, not just women that he's seeing outside of the house or outside of the studio. These are living girls. And then on top of that, I get messages all the time from other women that are flown into his shows. They are flown in. I heard from managers where he books the entire floor of hotels where he is in the concert and flies women in. So it's deeper than just how could she be with, or how any young lady can be with a man that can't read or write. Now, but it's like, how can you be with and it baffles me because, we raised her another way, and what to look for in a certain man, or relationship wise as she was growing up. So it baffles me to how she can accept that. And then what does he do? I personally believe that he's drugging the girls, and I've heard that many times, and I stand by that. And one of his old managers said there's nothing but a modern day cult. They said, imagine how, one of the managers put it to me this way, imagine how well he can write songs. Just imagine how he can get these young girls brainwashed. Because he's like a genius. You can't take his talent away from him. He's a genius at writing music. So just the way he writes the music, just imagine how he can manipulate young girls.
Let me explain something. R.Kelly is definitely a person that can read and write and do math. If you look at some of his elementary, you don't go through elementary school not being able to read or write. You don't go through, school will not allow that, first of all. So when he said he can't read or write, he may not be the best reader, but he can read. He may not be the best writer, but he can write. Everybody has their own level of reading and writing and doing math. But one thing I can say is, he do that in a 19-minute song to throw people off. Saying, want somebody to feel sorry for him. No, I don't feel sorry for him. He can read. He can write. He can do math, because at the end of the day, nobody becomes worth 150 million and then drop down and say they have nothing in their bank account. You got to remember, the money that he's getting from these shows, some of this stuff is not reported to the IRS, and the IRS need to investigate that, by the way. He's smart and intelligent, for sure. A lot of people just don't know it. He's smart now. I'm not taking nothing away from him. He's smart. I'm not giving him no breaks because the man is smart. Don't no man have Grammy-winning award artist that can do all these things, from plays, from actually writing songs for other people, and do multiple things for us to accomplish what he has accomplished, and it takes other people a million times greater to try to accomplish those things. This man is a genius. And a genius normally can read and write. And I swear to you, he can read and write. It may just be on the level of other people, but he can read and write.
I mean, read and write on what grade level?
I think he can read and write on the 5th grade level. I think he can read and write on that level. Because if you,
5th grade level?
I think he can read and write on a 5th or 6th grade level.
But that doesn't have anything to do with.
You remember he went to high school.
Yeah, it does have anything to do with his ability to write.
At the end of the day, I don't think he can read and write on a high school level or college level, whatever. But I think he can read and write on a elementary level. So I think he has some knowledge of reading and writing. I really do. So what do you think about the other young women that are in the house? How do you feel about, no one talks about Holly Calhoun. No one talks about Azriel Clary. No one talks about V. No one talks about Geronda Pace. No one talks about Dominique. Dominique, by the way, was at that TMZ right there beside my daughter. And my daughter sitting there telling everybody, oh, there's no other girls in the house. And there's one girl right there. So that tells you how he have controlled their minds. He's controlled their minds so much that they are so well trained that they know not to say certain things, or they're going to have certain consequences come behind that.
Do you think he passed along diseases to these girls?
Of course.
That's why they have saying that?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, a few of them have spoke out that have contracted certain STDs.
Right.
And they have pending cases right now. But I'm sure, and I have had several other young women contact me on social media that have contracted diseases. But they
remember, we got a hotline number.
Yeah.
We have had multiple people call us day after day and tell us that they have contracted some type of STD from R.Kelly, but they do not want the world to know. And hey, if that's the case, so be it. I want them to go to law enforcement and say this. And it's not just black people. It's some white women and other cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah, that have contracted something from Mr. Sylvester Kelly.
Yeah, so we have to respect everyone's privacy. If they don't want to come out, then we have for our personal knowledge, and hopefully, prayerfully, that one day they will be able to support our claims and support the other women who have came out. But yeah, he's giving multiple women different types of STDs. And it's sad, it really is. And we can only be prayerful that.
Let me tell you something. One lady told me. I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize. One lady told me this. She went to a hotel. This is a whole thing that I've experienced from one lady called me on the hotline. She met him at a hotel. He gave her the room key or told her to meet her at a hotel. When he met her at the hotel, he told her to get naked and put on something, like a negligee. And then he told her to model back and forth. And then when she turns around, he pushed her on the bed and have oral sex with her and force her against her will. One lady told me that. You know what? That's a similar story that I heard about my daughter. The same similar story. See, he has to brainwash you, force you to have sex. Who else you know have done that? Who else you know that have forced women into some type of sexual intercourse? Bill Cosby. It's been proven. See,
drugged them first.
He drugged them.
And we have a high suspicion that the girls are being drugged as well.
Yeah, they're definitely on some type of drug.
Ecstasy, Xanax, Coke, Hennessy.
Well, Hennessy, of course, is alcohol.
Wellness check. They can't do a wellness check on these females.
Well, we attempted one in Jackson, Mississippi. You know what happens when we attempt to do a well-being check? For some odd reason, the law do not want to be involved in that. The law will say, oh, we went out there, but we didn't see the girls. The last
they didn't have his room in his name.
They didn't have his room in his name.
We knew the room wasn't going to be his name. We knew that going in.
Right. And he knows, the law knows that we are looking for these young ladies. They know when we call, the first thing they ask, how old are they? Some of the girls are young as 17. But they want to know how old are instead of just doing a well-being check. We actually did a report here in the state of Georgia, not this past Saturday.
Yeah.
We did another report. We do a report all the time. So people that think we don't go to the police, we've been to the FBI, we've been to the local police, we constantly doing well-being reports, and they cannot catch these guys.
We can pinpoint a location.
We have to be able to pinpoint a location in order to get this locked down. So once we have to pinpoint the location, then we can be able to serve that well-being check.
I mean, y'all can't hire
we
private investigator.
We're in the process of doing certain things.
Private investigator. We've been discussion.
Yeah, we're in the process of in that matter. We can't go into too much detail, but it is in the process.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for a lot of people, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. I mean, it's to me, it's mind-boggling for him to be.
It is. It's very mind-boggling.
I mean, that's.
But let me tell you something else. Something else I saw on Instagram today. Rose McGowan, I don't know if you know who that was. She pointed something out. Harvey Weinstein. She was on Instagram and she was talking about, and I don't know in detail about this situation. I just saw it on her Instagram page where she was talking about how a 20-year-old girl has got some form of harassment or some form of beatings or something like that. And it's something similar to what R.Kelly is doing to our daughters and other women. But when you look at the page, you go and look at Rose McGowan's page, you will see how supportive that they are of saying, hey, we need to make sure we can help these young women or help this woman or whatsoever. But when you see our page and we're trying to bring awareness, you see all type of MFs and this girl like this and she needs a D and all that and his private parts, and I can't say all these things on camera, but this is what we have come to as African Americans. We don't support each other. We push the blame and say, hey, they say, hey, these are poor black women. They put the label on you before you even get out there. These are poor black women. My daughter went to school. She had everything she wanted. She had a clothing store, everything. She wasn't poor. She's still not poor. We couldn't get this far if we was poor. I'm pretty sure people read the media we're hard-working parents. But the problem here is that we do this 24/7. We couldn't afford to do this 24/7 if we were poor. And that's the problem. See, the media want to put a black young lady, come from a broken home. Me and my wife been together forever. You understand? But they come from a broken home. They come from a family that doesn't have some type of form of money, you know, and that's far beyond the case that what's going on here, and a lot of other young ladies. But they want to paint the black young African American girl as a victim where they are just coming from a broken home, and that's not the case. R.Kelly don't care about no broken home. He gets them any way he can, and that's what they got to understand. Next thing you know, the people out there in the world, he's going to get your daughter. Don't say he won't. Because you know what? Soon as your daughter slip up and go to college and you can't be there with her, guess what happens? Another R.Kelly, may not be that R.Kelly, but another R.Kelly may touch your daughter.
He's a master.
You don't never know. It's a lot of R.Kellys out there.
Right. It doesn't have to be an entertainer.
Right.
I've heard from other women that have in the same position their daughters with certain men that is not even an entertainer. Right.
We've heard from other people that saying they've been going through this. Their daughter has been missing over 10 years. Same stuff we going through with our daughter. So we want to take our hats off and say, guys, we want to get in the trenches with you. And if you got this problem, you call that hotline number. And we want to do anything we can because R.Kelly is just at the above ground. We want to reach the ceiling and get beyond this and help all women. Because I don't want another family to go through what we going through. Not another family.
And he lives up to his name, the Pied Piper. His whole desire is he doesn't want anybody to love anybody but him. So if you are a young girl that has a family, he wants you to turn away from them and just love him. So he's the true definition of Pied Piper. If anybody don't know what a Pied Piper is, just look up the definition.
Like he said in 19-minute song.
Pied Piper. That's where.
Give me the definition.
The Pied Piper is where you lure the girls away. Yeah, you lure the girls away.
Well, this is a man can't read, but he tell you to give me the definition. You know.
Right. He's definitely
hold up, he used word conspiracy. You know, that means a lie. So when you're not a knowledgeable person or you're an uneducated person, you're going to use poor written words or words that will be more similar to a person that don't understand. But he used conspiracy. He used bigger words, so it throws him out there and make him look bigger. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get to this point to say, just don't get away from this point where this man can't read and he don't understand. He wants you to feel sorry for him.
Crying over him on her show. He can't read. She just bust out crying. I'm like, what the world?
Man, please. You think this man can't read? You need to take that somewhere else. This man can read. See,
I don't care if he can read or write or whatever, but he has common sense.
He has very much common sense.
I don't. That's not my debate. If he can read.
If he didn't have common sense, we wouldn't be going through this today. We've been had our girls home, but he sure know how to way to stop us from seeing our daughter, and these other families are seeing their daughter. It's just not my daughter that's involved. It's other people's parents, other people's daughters involved too.
They're taking settlements. If they were underage, they're taking settlements. Payoffs. They're scared to come out. It's a lot. It's really.
So why do y'all think other people are scared to come out? I mean, what?
I can have Tim send you some additional information.
Yeah, a lot of people are scared to come out. They are.
Scared of what?
They because
I can send you some. I make sure I send you.
I'm gonna send you some other information that what you can read up on. You know, we could go on about this all night. We're gonna have to do a part 3 to this later on because it's so much that we can give to the public that is unbelievable. But the only thing I want you to realize is that, as you see, we're not holding anything back. We're not going to cut nothing off from YouTube where nobody can see what's going on, the flaws and all this video, because we don't want to cut anything. You know the reason why we don't want to cut anything? Because we want people to see the rawness of what we go through. We want people to see that people like you, people like a lot of other people, to see what type of people we really are. We don't want somebody, we're not up here being fake. We're about our daughter and we're about these other young ladies and getting them free. It's just that simple. So man, I want to thank you for coming on. I wish we had more time, but we'll be going on. But we're going to do this a part 3, and I appreciate you for your time, brother.
What city are you in?
What city are you in?
Jacksonville.
You in Jacksonville, Florida? All right, all right. Well, this young man just called in and did a comment, and guys, we want to thank y'all. I wish we just had more time, but we don't want to oversee this time. We want to keep your attention on this. We'll do a part 3, and we'll make this happen. So thank you. This is from the Savage Side, Team Savage all day. We're going to get you, Jocelyn. We're going to bring you home.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.